Creative Mornings. If you haven't been before, this is fantastic. If you come every month, thank you for continuing to support Creative Mornings. I'm Clint Williams with Clover Partners. We're going to thank our monthly sponsors. We're going to thank our coffee from Killer. Let's give it up for Killer Coffee. Breakfast from Alan and Heather Davis, realtors with RE/MAX Preferred. Drinks, swag, and venue from OK Shirt Company. Give it up for Justin over there. Fantastic venue. I love it. The manifesto this morning, Quint's going to come up and read it, so I'm going to hand it off to him. He's going to hand it to Hetty, and we're going to get going.
Good morning. Thank you guys for coming to our place. I never get to do this because we never have alcohol here, but if you have coffee or whatever, let's just raise a glass and we'll all do it together, okay? It's going to be up here. If you want to read along, you can. Everyone is creative. A creative life requires bravery and action, honesty and hard work. We are here to support you, celebrate you, and encourage you to make the things that you love. We believe in the power of community. We believe in giving a damn. We believe in face-to-face connections and learning from others and hugs and high fives. We bring together people who are driven by passion and purpose, confident that they will inspire one another and inspire change in the neighborhoods and cities around the world. Everyone is welcome. Here's our good friend Hetty.
What's up, good people? Go ahead, because some of y'all snuck through that back door, and I didn't get to high five you. So if you would go ahead and high five somebody near you, I deeply appreciate it. Go ahead and high five them now. Go ahead and high five them. If you sneaking through the back door, I thought you weren't going to get to high five somebody. All right. Hey, so I'm so excited to be here today. Now, I have a little something I want to give away to someone. Can someone raise their hand who has met somebody new this morning? If you met somebody new this morning, raise your hand. All right, the gentleman in the back right there, you against the wall. Who'd you meet today? You met all of them? Nice, nice. Let's give it up for meeting new people. You can go up front and pick a T-shirt of your liking from the homeless. The kindness, Kicks for Kindness. Kicks for Kindness T-shirt. So you go grab one. You get one, okay?
And if you didn't get one today and you would like to be part of it.
Hold on a second. This is my time. All right. Don't you say nothing else. What do you want to say? Go ahead.
If you guys didn't get a chance to get a tank top or donate and you would like to be part of this great initiative, because we are giving these to Curbside, to the Homeless Alliance, to City Rescue Mission, and to Pivot. We are going to be doing this the rest of the month at ICG right behind on 9th. You can bring shoes, you can donate, you can buy a tank top, whatever you want to do to help. They really appreciate it.
All right. Who can work for it?
Inside Creative Group.
I need you to come work for me. You got a lot of energy.
I drink a lot of coffee.
You okay? So you're on drugs.
I am.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, let's give it up for her. Come on. All right, so our first speaker, say hello, first speaker. Hello, first speaker. You don't even know who it is, but that's good, that's good. So our first speaker is from Mexico. So that's what she told me anyway. And so I said, are you sure you're from Mexico? She have no accent at all, right? And she says, yes, I'm from Mexico. I think she says she's been here for 13 years or so, or something like that. I may be wrong, but she will explain 13 years. And so then I said, well, what is your favorite food? And can you guess what her favorite food is? Pizza. Who said tacos? Tacos is her favorite food. Wow. And then I said, Taco Bell tacos? Huh? Because I need to know, like, what kind of tacos are you talking? And she said, no, I just love all sorts of tacos. And so what I want you all to do is to give it up for this very special lady who loves tacos, because she's got some goodness to share with you. Let's give it up for her.
Wow, this is crazy. So let's just get started. So my name is Naoma, and I'm going to talk to you about the end. And this graphic kind of represents what we're going to talk about, and I know that this makes no sense, but it's going to get a little crazy. So I'm Naoma, Sarah Nazan, and you can call me Naoma with an A, not an I. And I am from Mexico, and I moved here 13 years ago for school. And we're going to talk a little bit about the end. And the end has this negative connotation, this kind of morbid feeling, the end of an era. And I'm here to tell you that the end is not a bad thing. When you end toxic relationships, that's great. When you end something that is not filling your life with purpose, that's majestic. So we're going to get into this. So we grow up with this idea that we have to do everything step by step. And life is a little bit like chutes and ladders, and I'm going to tell you why it should be that way. So we go to school, we go to college, we have to get an internship to get the experience, to get the job that climbs up that ladder so that we can get a better house, we can get married, we can do all the stuff, then we can retire, and then try to do the fun stuff, and then the end, right? And I'm here to disrupt that a little bit. And I'm going to tell you why I'm not doing that, and why you should not be doing that either. So I moved here for college, and at the end of my first degree, I was studying abroad, and I realized that what I was doing was not what I wanted to be doing. And while I was there, I realized that I wanted to be in design, and I wanted to be in advertising and make cool campaigns for Nike and Adidas and do all this crazy thing. So we go back to square one, right? I come back to the States, go back to college. I'm the senior with all these freshmen, and my family is just like, what are you doing? You should be getting your master's, you should be getting a job, you should be scaling that ladder, and I didn't do that. The entire time I was in college, I kept thinking, what did I want to be? So, oh, whoops, my bad, I got ahead. So the entire time my family is questioning me, and I just knew in my gut that I needed to do what I was doing. And so I'm going to leave you with what I run my life with, which is always trust your gut. It's figured out what your head hasn't figured out yet. And if you don't trust your gut, I'm going to encourage you to do that for the next 6 months, and you'll see that crazy things start to happen. So from there, next slide. In school, I was just wishing that I would be like this girl, right? This like high-end creative director in this corporate life, powerhouse. And I wanted to be a creative director because I'm really good at ideas and concepts, and I'm pretty good at bossing people around. So, so the next slide will show you that when I finished college, with my second degree, I started working for a small studio that I did not expect to end up there. So in this studio, we're cranking out all of this work, and it's really tiny, and I'm learning a lot, and I'm getting this pang again that I'm not doing what I need to be doing. And a lot of that is because I am a major traveler. So this 2-week, 4-week vacation life that is in the US is like not my jam. I'm more of like a 2-3 month kind of person. So I started my own business. And here we go back to square one. I have 2 degrees, one I don't use, the other one I use 25% of the time, and the rest of the time I'm just devouring podcasts, articles, anybody that'll meet me for coffee so that I can learn again how to run a business, because trust me, you don't know even what it is about. And running a business is like one of the most humbling things because you really learn nothing. You know nothing and you're starting from scratch. So as I'm doing this, I'm reading about this thing that, like, maybe you've heard about it, this work-life balance, right? It's like a hot topic now. And how you're supposed to be putting everything in boxes and having these boundaries. And don't get me wrong, boundaries are important, but having life-work balance for me was impossible, right? This is a little bit more of what my work-life balance looks like. It's this overlapping, crazy thing. And the craziest thing is that this is what I want for you. Because when you try to put everything in boxes, you're really disassociating yourself from a more creative life, a more collaborative life, really following a purpose and a drive that you want to do. So I encourage you to do this. I encourage you to find what it is that you need to end in your life to find this purpose, to find this fulfilling thing. And yes, I am crazy and my work does rule me, but I love it and I love what I do and I wake up every morning excited to do that. So I'm not telling you to go quit your jobs. I'm not telling you to tell your bosses that they don't know what they're talking about. What I'm telling you to do is to really figure out what it is that you need to end that is pulling you back and making you go in boxes. I'm wanting you to end this idea that there is a roadmap for everybody because it does not look the same for everybody. And I'm encouraging you to live this kind of crazy, overlapping, creative life. So I'm going to end this question with, where will your end lead you? Thank you.
Good stuff, Naoma. Good stuff. Now, what I didn't say about Naoma earlier, because I first wanted her to talk before I share this with you, is that her favorite place in the world is Amsterdam, and it's not for the weed. So I just wanted to let you know that. She said it was not for the weed. So anyway, say hello to our next speaker. Say hello, next speaker. Hello, next speaker. This next speaker is Marisa, and I said, Marisa, you wake up tomorrow, and you're 100 years old. What are you doing? And she says, I'm writing. And I'm checking out as many books as possible from the library. Ladies and gentlemen, will you give it up for Marisa?
All right. Can you guys see?
Oh, she needs the mic back.
You need this one.
Sabotage by Hetty.
I thought you said she had a mic. You need my mic. It'll be $50.
Oh. Can I get you an IOU?
Yes. There you go.
Thank you. All right, everybody. I am Marisa, and I am here to talk about the end. So I am a writer, a blogger, a YouTuber. If you do video stuff and you go to my YouTube channel, like, I am not into video. I film it on my iPhone, so please don't judge. Like, the content is what matters, not like the technical skill, so thank you very much. I currently teach business communications at the University of Oklahoma. I have been working on a novel for the past 12 years, and it's about kind of the weirder parts of Oklahoma history, plus some of the weird urban legends on campus at OU. This picture right here is, you know, proving how cool I really am. This is me dressed as Frodo Baggins. I wish that this was like further back in my history, but this was senior year of high school. And so Creative Mornings has been something that I've wanted to do for a really long time, but I was like, I am not like those cool designers at all. They're not gonna let me up here. But haha, you have let a nerd into your ranks. So I feel very proud of that. Also, much like Naoma, I like to listen to podcasts and, you know, watch YouTube videos and try to figure out what it is that I'm actually doing. And one of the bits of advice I got was, the thing that made you weird as a kid is what's gonna make you money as an adult. But nobody has given me money for this picture of me with like fake hair on my feet yet, so it's not working. So I gotta find a new podcast. All right. So as a writer, I care a lot about stories. Stories are how I communicate, and it's a way that we all kind of ingest the world. There is a reason why there is a structure to stories and why most stories kind of follow this pattern. So right here, you know, you have your exposition, rising action, we get to the climax, the falling action, and then the denouement. We have to have that because that is the structure our brains are wired for. So if you've ever watched any like Luis Buñuel films, they're all very surreal. There is no plot line. It's impossible to watch because your brain is looking for that story. And we kind of try to put, or at least I do, I think everybody does, but we try to put the phases of our life into this story structure. So as a writer, I am always looking for the story in everything I do, and the thing about writing is that I've had to kind of change the story I tell myself about it, because writing sucks. Like, I tell my students that when I assign them the paper, like, it's gonna suck. It's never fun. Nobody likes doing it. So if you think about it, the average novel is about 80,000 words to 120,000 words. Or if you're thinking of that in double-spaced Microsoft Word pages, that's like 320 pages to 500 pages. And so this is something I'm voluntarily doing like a crazy person, right? But it's the thing that I want to do. It's something that's never going to pay off. I mean, most debut novels you get paid like $10,000 for, and that's it. And, you know, like I said, it's 12 years of work. That's not a very good return on investment, but we're all creatives here, and we understand that sometimes you just got to do what you love, right? Right. So the thing about telling stories about your life is that you have a story you're telling about your life, and other people around you have a story that you're telling about your life. So as a writer, I like to find the beginnings, middles, and ends of the phases in my life. But living in Oklahoma, it kind of makes it hard, because I grew up in the same house, lived there until I went to college. When I went to college, we called it the sequel to my high school because I was surrounded by so many people I knew. So anywhere I go in Oklahoma at any given time, there's somebody there that knows me from a different story in my life. And I am currently trying to carve out new stories for myself. But it's kind of hard when there are people that, you know, have known you from back in the day, when they knew you when you dressed like Frodo Baggins in high school. And I am willing to bet that there are people here right now who are actively avoiding somebody else in the crowd because you knew them from a different story in your life, and you don't need the awkwardness right now. Yeah. But I do have 2 rules when it comes to writing your own story. And that is that you get as many fresh starts as you want, kind of like Naoma did, and you get to call the end whenever you want. So if there's something that's not serving you, or if you're at a phase in your life where like it's just you're done with it, call the end and walk away. And you get to do that as many times as you want, whenever you want. And the reason I'm bringing this up right now is because I am about to call the end on a pretty big phase in my life. Up to this point, I have never been employed at one location for very long, just the nature of being a creative in Oklahoma, I think. But I've been teaching at the University of Oklahoma for a little over 4 years now, and I'm about to call the end on that. So you guys have to keep this secret. Like, I'm telling a secret into a microphone, so I know that this already makes me very vulnerable. But at the end of December, I am quitting my day job, and I'm going to do writing full-time. So working on my novel. So I'm going to work on my novel, I'm going to freelance, I'm going to be working as a writing consultant. If you need help with that big writing project, hit up your girl, y'all, okay? So these are all things that I have in mind, and they are, you know, this is the end that I'm looking forward to and the new beginning that I'm hoping for. So this right here, this is Dan Harmon's story circle. So if you're a fan of the show Community or Rick and Morty, the guy that created those shows has this story circle. And this kind of mimics the hero's journey. If you studied mythology, there was like a 20-something step process that the hero had to go through, but it included stuff like supernatural awakenings and speaking with the goddess and receiving gifts from the underworld and things like that. And typically in our life stories, we don't always get those things, so he shortened it. So each point on this circle is a different phase in a story. So we have 1, a character is in a zone of comfort. 2, but they want something. 3, they enter an unfamiliar situation. 4, they adapt to it. 5, they get what they wanted. 6, but they pay a heavy price for it. 7, they return to a familiar situation. 8, having changed for the better. So before I go to the next slide, my boyfriend is a designer, and he told me to tell everybody, like, just to give a disclaimer on this next slide, it's a block of text. I know, but that's my communication method. He can have all the visuals he wants. This is for me, so I'm gonna read it out loud to you if you can't read it, so. It's a block of text, okay? I'm a writer. So So I'm in a comfy full-time job with those state employee benefits, but I want to work for myself. I'm going to quit my day job to try to work as a writing consultant, freelancer, blogger, and novelist. I'll learn what I need to do to survive full-time on my own, and my business will grow. But I'll pay a heavy price for it, most likely in the form of losing that sweet, sweet state employee health insurance. I'll return to teaching, but in the form of workshops and conferences, and I will have changed into what I hope is the super entrepreneur who has 6-figure months every year. Maybe. That's the story I'm telling myself right now. But that's the thing, like, this is the story that I'm priming my brain for right now. That is how I want to end this current phase. So here's to calling the end on a really comfortable but unfulfilling life and claiming a fresh start that leads to the story I want to tell. And I just want to remind everybody, you get as many fresh starts as you want, and you get to call the end whenever you want. So, cheers.
Thanks, Carol. Wait, don't leave me. Don't leave me. Naoma, come on up. Does anybody have any questions for these ladies? We have some time, and I'd just like to extend my time with the microphone. No questions. Yes, David.
Naoma, what was your first degree?
Naoma, what was your first degree?
French literature and culture. Nice. Totally useful.
Okay, cool. Yes, next question. Over my head.
Ready for your French client.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah.
Where are they at?
For both of you, what's inspiring you right now?
Both of you, what is inspiring you right now? You go first.
Oh, I have to go first all the time. My gosh. That is a really good question. Right now, what's inspiring me is Andrea, for sure. But really, I draw a lot of my inspiration from travel, so I kind of tend to leave the country about 3 to 4 times a year because I need to. So that's what inspires me. And also all these cool people here that make time to come out and do this thing. Your turn.
So I like how Naoma is a grown-up because she said all that cool stuff. I'm going to tell you right now, cartoons. If you haven't watched Gravity Falls yet, it's amazing. And also, just listening to the music that I liked when I was a lot younger and I had a whole lot more hope and faith in life. So actually last week I went to go see Real Big Fish and the Aquabats at Tower Theater, and that was pretty rad. So just stuff like that.
Gravity Falls, I love it. Heather, hey, what's up, girl? Thanks for breakfast.
Thanks, Ellis. I was curious, your book sounds really interesting. So when you start being able to write, spend more time with it, do you have any kind of an idea of when it might be finished so we can read it?
So, that's a great question. I am hoping a year from now that it will be, in the publication process. So I will be finished, and then we'll know like when it'll be available for purchase. So, yeah. Thank you.
Yes, in the back.
What are some podcasts?
That's a great question. We could talk all day about this. Give us like 2 or 3.
Okay, keeping it to 2 or 3. My number 1 is 99% Invisible. And if anybody doesn't hear that, go change your life right now. Number 2, and I hate the name, it's so cheesy, but it's so good, The History Chicks. I know, and their branding is horrible, but I'm such a designer. But they talk about women throughout history, famous and infamous, and it's really cool. It's like the history lessons that you really wish you would have taken. Keep it to those 2.
So I like magic lessons a lot, Elizabeth Gilbert's podcast. I have to as a writer. And then I really like this podcast called Mindful Productivity. So it's all about like getting stuff done while still being a human and being mindful of that. And then like I'm super new agey and witchy, so I love the Tarot for the Wild Soul podcast.
I need to listen to all of these.
Yeah, go ahead.
Marisa, what advice do you have for like aspiring authors who haven't really broken into that area?
This is a fantastic question as well. So he asked any advice I have for aspiring authors trying to break into that space. And I think the thing is, have you seen The Matrix? Okay, So one thing I like to think about is that scene where Neo goes to see the Oracle and she tells him he's not the one, but before that, there's that kind of Buddhist monk kid that's like telling him that there is no spoon, he's just bending the space around it. So this is really weird and esoteric, so keep following. I think the thing to remember is that right now within the publishing space, there is no set system, and the people that are actually making money publishing are the ones that are avoiding the big name publishers. I mean, like if you're J.K. Rowling or Stephen King, you can still go with them, but if you're not, self-publishing and building your own platform is like the way to go, and I know so many people that are doing that now and 100% supporting themselves. So I think just if it's been done before, you can totally do it, but you don't have to. So just practice writing, find a group of writers you can work with, and then just kind of forge your own path.
Go ahead. I'm kind of slow. What do you mean by building your own platform? Is both of you share kind of how you build a platform?
I'm going to let you go. You already have the mic.
I think you just have to relentlessly be online all the time, have a brand for your Instagram, tweet very specific things, post to your website consistently, think about SEO all the time. Basically, it just kind of consumes your life.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And also, except for Instagram is a little bit more important for me than Twitter. But I would say staying consistent and being clear. Always changing your look is really not great for wanting to build this consistent platform. You want people to continue to follow you, not to fall off the bandwagon. That's just from a branding point of view.
Great advice, and they volunteered to stay here all day to answer everything. That's not true. I have lied to you. Thank you, ladies. Can we give a woo-woo to the girls? I love learning stuff, and now I've got to go follow more podcasts. I don't have time for that. I already listened to a ton. Crime junkie. Anyway. Yeah, so I just want to say thank you again to Oklahoma Shirt Company. Let me just say, they set up all the chairs for us. They provided the mimosas and the Bloody Marys. They provided the swag, the venue, the sound, the projector. So please, high five them on your way out, because this was super amazing and we had a blast. You guys were so, like, I don't know anybody else that likes to party at 8 a.m. But every month you guys are here early and you're like, I'm ready. And I was telling somebody else, like, y'all sit down like at 9 o'clock, like you all went to Sunday school at some point. You're like, okay, class is gonna start. Like 5 to 9, everybody's in a seat. And I'm like, okay, I guess they're ready, we gotta go. So thank you to Oklahoma Shirt Company. I wanna thank our global partners, Adobe, MailChimp, and WordPress. And if you don't know this, you can go on the Creative Mornings website, the Oklahoma City site. You can create your profile, upload your pictures, let everybody know if you're single. There's actually a setting for that. Hey! I'm not making that up. And I'm going to give you you have a 50-50 guess as to if I'm single. I'm not, putting my number on there, but my business card's on the table, so. You guys fill out those profiles. I have hurt someone's feelings over here. Yeah, I got an amen on this side and an oh my God on this side. Fill out your profiles because it helps us see your faces and names, because there's way more of you guys than there are of me, and I really like to greet you by your name. So fill out those profiles. You can look for jobs globally on there. You can post creative jobs. You can fill out, my favorite part of the profile is upload your favorite GIF/GIF. I'm not here to start a fight. Also, our local partners, Clover, the Treasury, and Roast Scout. Yes. Also, I want to thank ICG for coming on a whim and just throwing that up together. Thanks, guys. Thanks for what you're doing. They do a lot of cool stuff, so let's give it up for them. I don't know if you remember, we did coats for something back in the winter, coats for some people, and the homeless. Okay, that sounds terrible now that I couldn't remember. I didn't know if it had a catchy name yet. I knew it. Okay, coats for curbside. But they did coats and now the shoe drive, which has been amazing. So I'm just super thankful that they are here. And again, thanks to our volunteers for documenting. Christian, hey buddy, hi. Are you gonna get a shot of that? No, you're waving back, okay. And Les, if that's not the most amazing headshot I have ever seen in my life. Like Les, that bicep, bro. I was like, yeah, whatever you want to do, man. He came in today and I was like, it's your show, man. I see that arm. It's crazy. He has agreed to help us out for a while, and we are so thankful. If you check out his website, it is dope. So everybody, go like and subscribe. I don't know. I just watched some YouTube today. I don't know if you do that to his website. And then next month we have Commissioner Carrie Bloomert speaking on justice. What? Heavy hitter. What's happening? You guys are not excited about that. I don't think she's here, and I won't tell her you didn't clap. Dang. Okay, well, next month, just fake it, okay? If you're not excited, you support our elected officials. And then last thing, again, Oklahoma Shirt has offered to do tours today. If you want to go on a tour of the warehouse and see the printing, I've done it. It's pretty sick. I have a desk job, so everything's pretty interesting. If you guys want to go on a tour, you can just meet up here. There's a dispensary next door if you guys want to go on a tour of that and learn more about what that is. That's what I would need to know. I don't know. But there's a tour of that. You guys can go next door and ask questions. The shop is open if you want to buy some shirts. And then Hetty has another giveaway. He wants to give something else away. Let's see. What should we do? What should we do? Okay. This is a long shot. If your birthday's on June 8th. Anyone? Are you serious? Yeah, June 8th. Me too, bro. Okay, you just want a shirt. What? And he works here. Okay. Listen. Get out. Number one. Number two, you better be playing some lotto today. You won twice. That's right. Okay, forget you. I don't even know. Whatever. Okay. I don't know. Clint. How should we give this away?
If your birthday's in September.
We only have one. September 14th.
September, right here. Let's go with that right there. Just shout it right there.
You win. All right. Hetty's got a shirt for you. Fantastic. I don't know what it is or anything about it. He just said give some away, so we did it. All right. Guys, give yourself a pat on the back. Please high five Justin and the crew for today. Hang out, have some more drink. Oh, wait.
We have plenty of shirts left over. Like, so if you didn't get a shirt, make sure you get one of these cups are for you. And we're playing extras to take some cups home and drink all our food.
You will not have a problem.